Got a little bit of snow on the ground, but not too crazy cold out anyhow. So let's give it 2 minutes for the meditation, 10:02, and we'll start then. Thanks so much for joining. And good morning to those of you joining. What happened? Okay, there we go. I had to switch my to the Ethernet cable because yesterday I wasn't able to get on. Normally we've had a good signal at Mom's place. We upgraded her internet, and yesterday I had to hook the Ethernet cable up. So, in any case, let's give it another half minute or so, and we'll start the meditation. Which is now, actually. It's 10:02. So, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thanks for joining me this morning. As you can see in the background, for those of you who join me regularly, you see that I'm at Mom's this morning, and Mom's doing all right and better in some ways. So it's a ongoing process where we're just helping her to keep reclaiming her health, and so she gets to enjoy some of the fruits of her labors, seeing my son graduate in a couple years, as well as my other nephew, and see my nephew get married this year, actually. So all things to look forward to. Thanks for joining this morning. Let's meditate. So just allowing yourself to completely just surrender and allow yourself to be supported in whatever you're sitting or lying on, and just making mostly sure that you're comfortable. And although it's preferred to not fall asleep, the idea behind meditation is to be conscious and aware and practice. It's just a practice of awareness. And true meditation at its very core is just sitting and being. That's it. No doingness required, because when we monitor the breath, we're doing just that. We're monitoring it. We're just watching it, and without any agendas or any intention. So let go of all your agendas, that this be a good meditation, just let that go, or that it needs to look a certain way. And I invite you just to give this meditation over to God or whoever your higher source is, and just say, you know what, whatever thy will is, let this meditation flow in whatever direction it needs to, that is for my greatest good and the greatest good of all concerned. And that is how it's a wonderful way to live life that way as well. So many times we let our agendas and our intentions even get in the way of our greatest good, because our mind, our ego, thinks it knows best. And consequently, sometimes what seems like an innocent prayer and a good prayer may be in fact contrary to what our greatest good is. So let's just take a look what our greatest good is. And I just want to slow the pace down just a little bit. In fact, I just invite you right now to just open your heart, open your mind, and just allow love, blessings, grace, healing energy, just allowing it into mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Just allowing it in, allowing all this love, the blessings, the grace, all the support that Spirit has to pour upon you right now, just allowing it in. and to have trust and faith that you are being well taken care of, that God's love is indeed unconditional. What does that mean? It means that there's not one single thing that you have ever done, nor is there one single thing that you will ever do to keep God from loving you. Nothing. And sometimes when we're meditating, we can see when we're not fighting life and when we're not coming from the head, but we're coming from the heart, we can see how unconditional love is possible. Because unconditional love transcends the mind, which is rooted in duality of good and bad. And of course, our mind would have us believe that there's all kinds of things that are good and bad. What if everything that we described as bad is what other people need and what we need to awaken to the truth of who we are? I'm not here to persuade you or convince you of that. I don't even ask that you believe me. I'm just inviting you to explore that possibility with me. And we explore that by just emptying out all those thoughts and beliefs that engage us with our mind, where we're looking to the mind for solutions and the answers. But as I've said many times, the mind will not always be with us. There will be a time that it comes it's no longer with us, nor is our body. So we have to look to what is it that will always not only be with us, but will always be us. What is this perfectly non-physical, formless truth of who we are? And let's face it, so many people in their religious beliefs wait for their passing in order to experience the kingdom of God. Why? What a waste of life. And Jesus, and you look to any of the master teachers who have awakened, they will all tell you, you don't have to wait for this body to pass in order to experience the heavenly state that's available right now in this moment. And I literally mean right now. You know, it's just important for me to say this over and over, because the mind is tricky, the ego is tricky. It wants to be somebody, and it's afraid of being nobody. But if you truly want to, as Jesus said, you have to be like a child to enter into the kingdom of heaven, which to me means to return to innocence. Innocence meaning that we're not walking into each situation with an idea of how or what we're supposed to be in that moment or what we're supposed to do. No, we come from a place of complete innocence so that we can experience the heavenly state, which is that state which is beyond the mind, which is beyond any fears, blame, judgment, shame, guilt, is beyond all the past and all of the future. So that the one thing remains is the present moment, is truth, is peace, is joy, and is you. You are the one thing that remains eternally as the formless truth. The more and more that I trust that God and life are on my side, it really gets easier and easier. And I noticed how I started to say something earlier and then I shifted gears. And what I'm noticing about my mind right now is I feel I need to go back to what I started to talk about. And so I started to turn to my head to figure out what I was going to say so that my meditation can be congruent with what I'm sharing with you. But the thing of it is, can I let go of that also and just trust that life and God are on my side through this meditation? My mind says this meditation needs to look a certain way. Is this helpful? Is this a good meditation for people? So my mind is doing the same thing that perhaps yours is doing. It doesn't matter. The more we can catch it, witness it, and then simply come back to the moment, it's all absolutely perfect. So just bringing your awareness to your breath. And I also invite you just to let go of all of the past and all of the future. People sometimes speak of freedom in our country, freedom in the world, or to even live free. But let me just say this. If you do not transcend the mind, and you are coming from a place of fear in any way that you are living, that is not freedom. If you are living in fear with anything, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, or spiritually, that is never freedom when you're living in fear. And the truth is, most people are living in fear. Even the people that you would consider happy most of the time still have certain fears, because at the very core of any issue that we have is a fear. And A Course in Miracles, of course, puts it at there's only either love or fear. So if you are not fully rooted in love, then there has to be fear at the very core. And if you take any issue, certainly all the worries of the future, what's going on, that's all rooted in fear. And if you take any issue, an issue of shame or guilt or blame, all of those, if you break it down, you will find at the very core of it is fear. So then the question becomes, how do I either let go of the fear, or how do I transcend the fear? It's wonderful. We practice a letting go of in these meditations. And I do invite you right now to let go of all of your fears, all of them. It doesn't mean you won't experience them again, but just let them go. And if a fear does come up, to be mindful of it, just to be aware of it, consciously aware of it, and understand and recognize that it is not you. And the other way is to transcend the fear. And in the past you've heard me talk about this, because this is really important. And I first heard it through my teacher, Maharishi Sadashiva Asham. But I've heard Muji say it, and I've heard other teachers say it as well. But Sadashiva would say that so many people spend so much time trying to heal issue by issue. only to find that 3 or 4 more issues pop up and present themselves. Because you see, if you are coming from the unconscious self, if you are still rooted in the mind as being the truth of who you are, you believe the thoughts, the feelings, the beliefs, experiences. If you are still rooted in this illusion in some way, there will always be something to heal. There will always be fears. But what Sadashiva also said, it's like cutting off the branches of the tree when all you need to do is remove the tree from its root. What does that mean? It means rather than focusing on issue by issue, if you transcend the mind, you are transcending all the fears, all the blame, all the judgment, all the guilt and shame. So then the next question, of course, begs to be answered is, how do we do this? There's many different meditations, many different paths to this. In the meditation that I lead, it's about emptying out all those things that you are not, so that only the truth of who you are remains. When you are rooted in your truth, that is to say, you are rooted in love, peace, and joy, and you recognize that you are not your thoughts, you are not your beliefs, you are not your feelings, nor are you the body or the mind or the 5 senses or your experiences or your memories. All those things are of your ego self, which is the story that you have accumulated over the years as to who you think you are. I'm inviting you right now to empty out so fully and so completely that the only thing that remains is the one thing that you cannot empty out, and that is you. So I say that is you. Who is you? What does that look like? You are the one that is simply aware of my voice right now. You are the one that is aware of the thought that comes in your head. You are the one that is aware of any feelings that you have or any beliefs that you have. You are the one that is aware of your body and your physical mind. But you are also the one who is aware of your non-physical mind, your divine intelligence. You are the one that is aware of all of life and all of its happenings. Everything external, everything physical, you are the one that is aware of it, but it doesn't require a form to be that awareness. Let me say that again. You're aware of all of life, but it doesn't require anything physical, any sort of form to be aware. You have the thought, man, I'm just not a good person sometimes. You don't require anything physical about you in order to be aware of that thought. You notice your breath. Just be aware of your breath for just a moment. Just witnessing it, just watching it. Does that require anything physical to notice the breath? No, there's no physical. Your body is not aware. You are aware of the body, but the body is not aware of you. You are aware of the mind, but the mind is not aware of you. It does not have awareness. It only has thinking, thoughts that are not you. It does its own thinking. Your thinking is the physical thinking, the divine intelligence of who you are that is eternal, by the way. And we know that your mind and body cannot be you because they are finite. They are not eternal, so you have to be something beyond that. And none of these things are eternal. Feelings, beliefs, thoughts, your experiences, your memories, all of these things will come and go. They will all eventually fade away. But if you tap into the memory from the core truth of who you are, which is tapping into the memory of the cosmos, you can remember or recall anything. You can be access to anything that has ever happened or will ever happen. It's unlimited. And certainly, as far as intelligence goes, there is not one single thing that you cannot solve with divine intelligence. And it has been my experience that God never brings us more than what we can handle. So if you feel like there's no way out, I invite you to just simply notice that thought, allow it to pass on by, and just give it over to the universe and trust and have faith that it will come back exactly in the way you need it and exactly when you need it. I could tell you that you are so perfect and beautiful, but your true self already knows this truth. And my words are not enough. It's not enough to believe what I'm saying is true. We have to get beyond all the beliefs, all the knowledge that you've accumulated even. This is not about learning, it's really about an unlearning. Unlearning all the things that you have believed to be true. Even unlearning all the things that you believe to be right. Because I assure you, as we're all out there judging each other, particularly in the political realm, because after all, if they only knew what I knew, then we would get this thing right. But the truth is, we have to let go of all of our self-righteousness so that we can come back and reconnect with the innocence, the freedom, and the beauty of who we already are. The mind can never comprehend that we have everything we have been seeking for right now in this moment and every present moment. Because the mind only knows logic. It only knows duality of good and bad, right and wrong. And one can never, ever experience total peace or a sustaining love or joy when we're coming from the head and not from the heart. Something that's been coming up for me lately that I expressed, I think yesterday or the day before, I don't remember. I think yesterday, and I want to say this again because something has really become very clear to me. And that is, and we've used the phrase, stress is wanting life to be different than what it is. If you were to accept everything about your life right now in this moment, all that would be left is peace, right? If you were to accept and embrace everything about your life right now, all that would be here is peace. But our mind and our ego get in the way and say, no, that's not right. You're telling me that's right, and here we are into our self-righteousness. saying, that's not right. How can I be at peace with that? Because if you notice that your mind is wanting to be right and you let go of your self-righteousness, then you can be at peace with anything. So we first have to recognize that our mind thinks it knows best, and that very thing, those things that we believe we are right about, the more we can empty those out, all that will remain is the peace and truth of who you are. So at least for this meditation right now, just for this meditation, or if the meditation feels too long, even for just a moment, can you let go of needing life to be any different than what it is? Just surrendering, melting into life itself. And even just surrendering into your true self, which is peace and love and joy. Just right now, surrendering fully into peace. Just completely letting go and surrendering into peace without any resistance, just for this meditation. That's all. And then surrendering into love. Just surrendering into love. How wonderful does it feel to just allow yourself to be embraced by the arms of God, which is the same arms that you have. You are one with our beloved Creator. So surrendering into joy, surrendering into the bliss of God. And just surrendering into the truth of who you are. Maybe you just see this as this perfect, beautiful white light. This beautiful white light of nothingness. And just surrendering into that spark of the divine of who you are. It doesn't matter. Just allow your whole being to just surrender fully into this perfect drop of God, this perfect drop of love, of peace, of joy. And that's all it takes, just one single pure drop as to who you are. And how is it the Bible says, with the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. You ever see the size of a mustard seed? Very tiny. It's not about bigness. It's not about quantity. It's just about the pure quality, the pure beauty of who you are, that is beyond anything with any physical form, and beyond any fears, beyond any self-righteousness. And just coming back to being conscious and aware of your breath. And just noticing how the breath easily flows in and easily flows out without any effort, without you doing anything whatsoever. And of course, when we are sinking more into the stillness, quite oftentimes the mind gets busy. Don't try to still the mind. That will only get the mind busier in trying to figure out how to be still. You can't do it. The mind can't do it. But the more we can witness more we can monitor the thoughts without judging them, then stillness will naturally fall over us. But don't try to get it. And actually, when the mind gets busy in the meditation, use this as a springboard for awakening. Oh, my mind is so busy, I'm so frustrated. Just notice that thought. And know that every time you notice a thought and you allow it to effortlessly pass on by, you are emptying out that which you are not. But I don't want you to try to empty out. I just want you to just be aware when the thoughts come in. But if the thoughts are pouring in, then you're just watching all of it. And you can know that you're probably moving a lot of old stuff out of yourself. It's not even moving it out of yourself, it's actually moving it out of your egoic self. So again, just coming back to being aware of your breath. And when a thought comes in, just allow the thought to gently and effortlessly pass on by and come back to being a witness to your breath. And let's practice that right now. And if your mind is drifted, just coming back to being aware of your breath, which brings you back to the present moment, which is beyond the past, beyond the future, and brings you back to home, to who you are, the one who is non-physical, formless awareness, just simply awareness. That's who you are. And again, if your mind is drifted, just come back to being aware of your breath. if your mind has drifted, just coming back to being aware of your breath. And again, just coming back to being aware of your breath. again, just coming back to the present moment, coming back to being aware of your breath. And we're going to begin to bring the meditation to completion. So if you would like to continue meditating, please either mute or turn your device off. And thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate all of you coming in to join me for the meditation. And for those of you who are ready to finish up the meditation, just taking in a nice deep breath. And just making sure you're fully rooted, fully grounded in this physical form that works so well to get you around, hopefully works so well. And just wiggling your fingers, your toes, doing a little stretching. And taking your time, and whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. And I'm just going to pop in and see who joined here. So let's see, I'll go over to Facebook here first. And, well, it's stuck on that screen. So let me go over to YouTube and see who's joining us there. And there's my girl Sandy. Hi Sandy, good morning. I receive the love and I give the love. Yes, thank you. Okay, yeah, thanks Sandy. Thanks so much for joining. And the unlearning continues. Yes, the unlearning continues, exactly. Yes, I'm glad there's that awareness of that. Somebody else joined you a little earlier too, and I don't know who that was, but thanks Sandy, thanks for joining. Now I'm going to sneak back over here to Facebook and just see. And there's my buddy Michelle. Thanks Michelle. Good morning, my friend. Good morning. So, all right, let's see. Tomorrow is Sunday. I have a talk with Unity of Grand Rapids. If anybody's interested, it'll be at 10:30 on Zoom and Facebook Live. There'll probably be a recording of it too if you want to go back and watch it another time. But other than that, see, Laura and I will be leaving Monday from my mom's, but there will still be meditation on Monday. So thank you all for joining. Have yourself a beautiful day. Namaste, my friends.